What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream from the Scalar Learning Channel. And today we are back in it with SAT week, prep week. We got the big SAT coming out this Saturday. And sorry I didn't do a stream yesterday, meant to, but we're just in the throes of that time of year again. We got finals coming up and all that stuff. So just a lot of things going on. But we are here today. We're doing an awesome digital SAT, another one from the SAT Crash Course. So if you didn't know this, just to give you guys a heads up, I have partnered officially with the SATCrashcourse.com, and I did that because they have, in my opinion, the absolute best digital SAT practice around. I've talked to a lot of companies and seen a lot of practices, and these are really, really phenomenal. So I believe our partnership, we are putting everything together and creating the best of the best resources for you guys. So if you do want to purchase any practice tests from them, you can use the code SCALAR, SCALAR, all caps. You get 20% off. It's in the description below. If you want to check that out, I highly recommend it. Like I said, I think it's awesome. So somebody asked a question, how many questions are on the digital SAT? For the math portions, Module 1 and Module 2 each have 22 questions, which you're about to see right now. What's up, Anshi? Welcome. And we're going to kind of get right into the mix because I have still a busy day today. I still have 2 more sessions. So I have a hard stop in 54 minutes. Usually you're supposed to have, I think, 70 minutes to complete this, but I'm going to hope that I can get through this usually a little bit faster than in the time limit. So we're just going to go with the flow and see what happens. Module 1 is going to be easier than Module 2. And that's it. We're going to jump into the mix. I'm going to explain it as we go. We'll use Desmos when need be. I got my whiteboard up here. And as per usual, we're taking this test for the first time in real time. So you're going to see an authentic test-taking experience. You're going to see me reason and figure stuff out on the fly. So that's always fun. All right, here we go. And if you do have questions, make sure to put them in the chat, and I'll get to them when I get to them. But again, I'm taking this live, so I'll be fully focused on the test. If you do leave questions in the comment section after the live stream, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I got some crazy videos coming out this week in relation to the digital SAT, a really, really big one that's going to be out by Friday. I'm working on it all week, so you'll see that as it comes through. If you guys are taking the digital SAT now or anytime in the future, it's a must-see. It's going to be legendary. All right, here we go. We're going to start. Wait, what? Okay, here we go. We're going to start with the math section, Module 1. For those of you guys who don't know, Module 1 is going to be the easier one. If you do well enough, you're going to move on to the difficult Module 2, which is what we're banking on. So here we go. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, oops. All right, question number 1, which equation is the same solution given equation? All right, so basically, we don't need to write this out, but I'm going to minus 10. Actually, I will write it out. Minus 10 from both sides. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I can actually pull this up so I can annotate here. Let's see. Oh, shoot. I have to reload this 1 second. I hope this works. This will be even better if I can annotate here. Uh-oh. Close. Yes. Okay. So it's going to be legit now. So we can do 5z and then I'm minusing 10 from both sides equals 25. Divide both sides by 5. Divide both sides by 5. X equals 5. Oh, but they said which one is equivalent to it. So it's the same as 5z equals 25. The other way to think about it is because 5 definitely is the answer, right? 5 is the answer here. 9 is the answer here. 3 is the answer here. 8 is the answer here. So B is the winner. Boom, done. Moving on to number 2. Okay. We got these nice I'm assuming these lines are line R is parallel to S. So again, we always note that if it's not in the diagram, we're trying to solve for the value of X. By the way, they could have said 3X, but they said X. So these are alternate interior angles. With parallel lines, that means they're equivalent. So I'm going to set them equal to each other. Then we're going to divide both sides by 3. Use Desmos if you need to. I'm going to do it mentally. 78 divided by 3 is 26. Let me double check that. 60 plus 18. Yeah. So X is 26 and right there. Notice they also have the answer 78 because that's 3X, but that's just to throw you off. So there is the answer. Boom, done. Number 3. Okay, each value in the data set shown represents the number of instances groups for complete erase. What is the median? All right, so median, we need all of these in increasing order, which it's not. So we're going to rewrite it. 35 is first. Then we have 42. Or no, sorry, 40. Oops. Okay, so you can't make any mistakes here like I almost did because that would totally throw everything off. 42. Then we got 45. Then we got 48. Then we got 50. And then we got 53. So it's the median value. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The middle value is the 4th value, which is 45. 45 is the winner. Boom, done. Okay, number 4. The given equation describes the relationship between number of paintings P and the number of frames F. They can be stored in art gallery if the gallery stores 10 frames on a given day. So what does that tell you? I'm going to plug in immediately 10 for F. So 3P plus 5 times 10 and 3P plus 50 equals 89. How many paintings, aka solve for P, isolate? So subtract 50 from both sides. 3P equals 89 minus 50 is 39. Divide both sides by 3, boom, and we get P equals 13. B is the winner, boom, done. All right, let's go to number 5. Okay, cone has a, okay, so I'm going to draw the cone. Anytime I talk about geometric figure, I'm going to draw it out. So we got a cone base diameter, has a base diameter and height of 54 units each. That means the height is 54 and the diameter is 54, which I'll say the radius is 27. And now, okay, I figured they were going to ask for volume. That's why I put radius instead of diameter. Now, in the reference sheet, they do have the formula for the volume of a cone, but I have it memorized, so I'm just going to write it out. V equals 1/3 pi r squared times height. So we're going to plug and chug. So we got 1/3 pi times radius, 27 squared times height. And then let's do, wait, can I just, no, I can't do it mentally. Hold on. Let me pull up Desmos. Oh, shoot. All my writing went away. What just happened? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, it just disappeared. That's all right. I think I can do it. So calculator, what did I say? I said 1/3 times pi, which we'll just ignore for now, times 27 squared times 54. So it's 13,122, and then we got the constant of pi, 13,122 pi, boom, done. And by the way, this is if you forgot to put the 1/3 in. That's the formula for a cylinder. The reason why I point that out is because I made that mistake once on a real test and got it wrong, and I was super mad. Okay, now this is a great one because I'm going to show you my strategy. When they write it out like this, I'm going to immediately turn it into equation. 9 is the same as equal. P%, meaning P out of 100, P over 100 of is multiply 40. Look, I got an equation now I can solve for P. Okay, I'm going to multiply both sides by 100. I get 900 equals P times 40. Divide both sides by 40. Divide both sides by 40. Boom. And 900. So that's 90 divided by 4. What is that? 45. Half of that is, half 45 is 22.5, right? 22.5. I'm going to double check in Desmos. 22.5. Hold on. And then what is it? We said 900 divided by 40, right? 900. Oops. 1 second. 900 divided by 40 is 22.5. I think that's correct. And that is what it is, right? Because it's 22.5%. Anyways, let's move on. Number 7. A model predicts, nature says hello. Hello, how you doing? Good to see you. A model predicts that the amount of waste produced by a city was 5,000 tons to 2,000. Model also predicts that for each year for the next 8 years, the amount of waste Okay, hold on. I have to piece this together as I'm writing it. Okay, the waste produced by a city was 5,000. So in the year 2000, it was 5,000 tons, okay? And then the model predicts that each year for the next 8 years, so up to 2008, it increases by 2%. So if we're doing an equation, I already know it's C. They're asking what is the best representation of this model. The reason why is because for an exponential equation of a 2% increase, remember, it's going to be 1 plus that percentage increase in decimal format. 2% is 0.02. Hence, we should have 1.02 in the parentheses. And the only option with that is C. So it's got to be C. Just for context, the 5,000, that's the initial value. It's got to be here. So only C or D have that. But anyways, D is a 2% decrease, but this is saying 2% increase. So C is the winner. Done. Number 8. 3x squared plus 5. Okay, what is the positive solution to the given equation? Let's just go ahead and set everything equal to 0 because it's a quadratic. Minus 42 equals 0. Then we're going to factor, but this is a leading coefficient. So we're going to use the star method. I'm going to put the A value, which is 3 up here. A times C, 3 times negative 42, 120, negative 126 over here. And then we got 5 on the bottom. So what two numbers multiply negative 126, add to 5? Hold on, let me think. 21 and 6. No. 12 and 12. I can't. I'm having trouble. Wait. I can do this. Hold on. 21 and 6. No. 3 and 42. 14 and 6. Wait, why am I having trouble? Hold on. Let me see if I can do this another way. 3. What two numbers? Hold on. I can figure this out. So 126 this is another way that I do it sometimes. 2 and 63, that's 9 and 7, that's 3 and 3. So we can say 9 times 14, no. 21 times 6, no. 6 times, no. 9 and 14. Oh, 9 and 14, what am I saying? Yeah, okay, so I was trying to find two numbers that have a difference of 5. It's 9 and 14. Then we reduce, that's 1 and 3. And and they're both no, sorry, the 9 is negative, so that's -3. So it's x minus 3, 3x plus 14 is equal to 0. So my two solutions are 3 and then -14/3, but they want the +3. Okay, the other thing, so it is 3, but the other way I could have done this without doing all that work is you can also just plug and chug, right? So they're all positive, obviously. So you plug in 3. 3 times 3 squared is 27 plus 15 is indeed 42. Boom, done. Number 9. Okay. I kind of did that the hard way. Now let's go to this one. 1 second. Let me move this up. This is glitching. Hold on. Get rid of it and bring it back. Okay. Dot plots representing monthly temperature stating A and say B over U. Which statement best compares standard deviation? So what did I say about standard deviation? Oh, you don't need to calculate. You just need to know how to interpret it or understand. Standard deviation is the spread. The city A is more tightly compacted around 72, which is, whatever, arguably like the center, the median or mean or whatever. City B is more spread out. That's the spread, which means city B has a larger standard deviation. That's all you need to know. So the standard deviation of A is less than B. I'm happy with that, but let's see the other choices. Standard deviation of A is equal. No, definitely not. The spreads they're not the same. So regardless, they can't be. The standard deviation of monthly temperatures A is greater. Wrong. And then there's not enough information. All right, done. Number 10, the graph of y equals g of x function g equals px cubed plus blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it's a cubic function. How many distinct values of x does g of x equal? This is basically asking, when it's saying when the function equals 0, it's saying how many x-intercepts does it have? That's what it's asking. I see 1 at -6. 1 is the winner. Done. Number 11, the exponential function is defined by 4 times c to the x, where c is a positive constant. If f of 4, what does that mean? They're plugging in 4 for x. If f of 4 is this, so that gives me an equation, 5,184. That's the function value when x is 4. What is the value of f of 5? Well, this is enough information for us to solve for c. So let's do that now. We're going to start by isolating, divide both sides by 4. We're going to use the calculator. Hold on. 5184 divided by 4. 1 second. Is 1296, and then so we have c to the 4th equals 1296. I can take the 4th root of that. Hold on, and here's how you can do a 4th root. 1296 to the 1/4 power is 6. So c is 6. So now I know my equation is f of x equals 4 times 6 to the x. So now we plug in 5. It's gonna be a big number. So 6 to the 5th power. Hold on. 6 to the 5th power, and then times 4. 31,104. 31,104. Does that make sense? Let me think about it for a second. 4C6. Yeah, it should be bigger, right? So, I think that makes sense. It's basically this value times 6. So, I think we're good. The thing is, you have to be super careful on the free response, right? Because you have a single typo, you have no idea, and you get it wrong. All right, which order pairs the solutions given system equations? Now, you can graph this and see where they intersect. Am I going to do that? Yeah, let's do that, actually. Okay, why not? Let's have a little bit more practice with Desmos. Okay, so we got x minus 3. And I don't even need the y, because watch, it'll still give us a nice graph. And then here we got 7x minus 21. So where do they intersect? It's showing us right here. They intersect at 3, 0. So 3, 0 is right there. Now we can double check, right? If I plug in 3, I get 0. If I plug in 3, I get 0. So 3, 0 must be the winner. Boom, done. 13. Triangle AB. Okay, now they're talking about triangles that are similar. Let's draw them out. 1 second. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm assuming they're right, but I don't know. Okay. Triangle ABC is somebody if where A corresponds to D, B, blah, 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 blah. And B and E are right angles. Okay, great. So B will be this one, and E will be this one. Those are the right angles, okay? And then it says that, what does it say? Anything else? Sine of A is, let's make A this, and let's make C this. And then that would be D, and that would be F. All right. So he said sine of A, which is opposite over hypotenuse, is 180 over 181. So we'll just call that 180, 181. So what is cosine of F? Well, cosine of, since F corresponds with C, cosine of F is the same as cosine of C, but cosine of C, since A and C are complementary, it's the same as sine of A. But anyways, if you don't know that, we got this nice setup, right? So cosine of C is adjacent over hypotenuse, which means it's the exact same value. But that's also referencing back to that other rule. Remember, sine of an angle is equal to cosine of its complement and vice versa. All right, next, 14. function, blah, blah, was the number of fish point to use. Okay, after initial observation. So the initial is going to be 500 times 0. How many days does it take for the number of fish to be 9 times the initial number? Well, watch this, right? I know 9 times the original number. I know the initial number based on the format of an exponential is 500. 9 times that is 4,500. So let's set this equal to 4,500 and solve for t. So, 500 times 3 to the t over 91. Wait, and this is days. How many days? Okay, I'm going to divide both sides by 500. We got 9 equals 3 to the t over 91. Okay, this is amazing because check this out, right? What is 9? 9 is the same as 3 squared, okay? So I want 3 to the t over 91 equal to 3 squared. That means the exponents must be equal to each other, right? So t over 91 has to equal 2. Well, to solve for this, I'm just going to multiply both sides by 91, and t equals 2 times 91 is 182. 182 for the win. Boom, done. All right, let's put that in. Okay, 15. Here we go. The equation relates the distinct positive number to Rm, in which, okay, this is an isolating quantities question. That's it. Everything has 3n isolated, so let's do that now. First, I'm going to multiply both sides by that denominator. That's kind of your generic first step when you have something like this. So we have R times 3n plus 5 is equal to m. Let's distribute. R 3n plus 5r equals m. Again, this is what we're trying to isolate. So let's subtract both sides by 5r. R 3n equals m minus 5r. Last step, divide both sides by r, right? And then we got 3n isolated. So it's m minus 5r over r. Now, they don't have that. Okay, I know why. Because what they did is they broke it up into two fractions. So they said m over r minus 5r over r, but then the r's cancel out. So m over r minus 5. I think I wrote m over r minus 5. A is the winner, done. Now, one other thing you could do is if you're like, I'm not so sure about this, you could choose numbers and plug in for M, R, and N and plug it in here for, like, if you could choose numbers that work, right? So, like, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to waste time because I'm on tight timeline, but you could choose nice, easy numbers that work here. So, you know, M is an N and R are these values to fit that equation. Then for the correct equation, those same values should work. All right, let's move on. 16, here we go. Line M is defined by this, line N is perp to this. Okay, perpendicular slope. So first of all, if I'm going to get the perpendicular slope, I need to know what the slope of this line is. To do that, I'm going to put it in a slope-intercept form. So I'm going to isolate y. Negative 3y equals negative 5x plus 9 because it's a positive 9. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3. Y equals negative 5 over negative 3 is positive 5/3 x. And then 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. So the slope is 5/3. The perpendicular slope is opposite reciprocal. So the reciprocal is 3/5. Opposite meaning we change the sign from positive to negative. So my answer is, negative 3/5. That's how you do it. Don't forget, for the digital SAT, you can have negatives in the free response, right? Unlike the regular one. Just make sure I didn't make a mistake. Yeah, we're good. Okay, point A is the center of a circle. Let's draw out a circle. Boom. Here's A. Okay, the measure of arc BC. See, I'm drawing in a diagram as I'm reading it, right? And we've got this connecting here, and then this is BC. Okay. And that the measure of arc BC is 107 degrees. So that's the same as, that's what they're asking. They're asking, what is the measure in degrees of the associated angle BAC, which is the central angle? And the short answer is that the measure of the arc in degrees is the same as the measure of the central angle, aka 107 is the answer, and that's it. Wait, let me just make sure. Associated angle, boom. Yeah, that's it. 18. We got a nice graph, which is the length of the equation of the graph and showing the xy plane. Okay, here's a couple things we're going to note. Number one, there's a x-intercept at -4. Number two, there's an x-intercept at 0. Number three, there's an x-intercept at 5. But the 5 has a multiplicity of 2. Why do I say that? Because it bounces, okay? So what I should see, and I'm going to write it out before we do it. What I should see is something like x plus 4, right? X minus -4. Something like an x, not squared, but just a regular x that gives it the 0. And then we need an x minus 5, but that one should be squared. And then any coefficient in front. Actually, we should have a negative coefficient in front because it's going down, down. But we should see something like this. Okay. X minus 5 squared, x plus 4. This looks like it because it's a negative. That's missing the squared on the 5, right? That has not. Yeah, it's got to be A. All right. 19. We're almost done. For x is greater than 0, function is okay. For f of x is obtained by halving each value of x. That's all. This is such a weird question, but that's okay. That's what it means. F of x is equal to half of x. That's it. And that's straight up linear. Well, it's still increasing though, because it's 1/2 x, it's still a positive slope. So it's still an increasing function, right? Increasing, we're talking about the slope, like going up. So as x goes up, what happens? The function value goes up, right? X is 4, this is the function value is 2. X is 100, the function value is 50. So I'd still say increasing linear. So D is the winner. That is a very interesting question. Okay. Function h is defined by g of, okay, so this is g of x. H of x is x minus 4. For what values of h of x reach its minimum? Now, this is a transformation. When you do x minus 4, it means you're moving it 4 units to the right, right? Now, for what value of x? So currently, the minimum, okay, we can get the vertex, aka the minimum, right? Because it's going up. You can tell that because it's a positive a value. So the minimum is negative. It says A, B, C. The minimum occurs when x equals negative b over 2a. So negative b is positive 52, right? Because it's negative 52 is b. Negative b over 2a. A is 2, so 2 times that's 4. 52 divided by 4 is 13. Okay, so it normally reaches at 13, but now it's been shifted 4 to the right, which means the minimum is going to be at 17. By the way, you could graph this. Well, you could graph it, but the transformation might be a little bit harder to graph, but you'll see if you graph it and then you kind of like shift the minimum over by 4, it's going to be at x equals 17. For what value of x? Yeah, so 17, boom, done. Okay, if I had more time, or like, not like I'm running out of time here, but if I had more time in general, I would have showed you on the calculator, but okay, here we go. Table shows results, survey people's music preferences. If 1,543 people attend a concert featuring various genres, oh wait, total 307 people were surveyed. Got it. How many would it be expected to prefer rock music? Okay, so literally this is just a proportion problem, right? So 147 out of 307 prefer rock, and then now they're saying the new total of 1,543 X would prefer rock, and now we cross multiply. Okay, so let's cross. I'm gonna use the calculator here. Oh wait, hold on. So we need 1 second. 30. So it's 147 minus 1543, right? 147. I mean times 1543, 15. And then it's that divided by, because then it's going to be 3 equals 307x, so we divide by 307, and we get 738. Let's see. So 738 is so we'll round up to 739. Hold on, let me make sure I didn't misread anything, because it is 21. It's kind of easy for 21. Table shows the results of a few. So 51 plus that is 160. Yeah, 307. How many would be expected rock music based on the survey? Yeah, I think we got it right. Okay. Hold on, just double checking, because it'd be like that times 5 approximately. Yeah, that feels right. Okay. Last one, 22. Let's go. In the given system of equations, A is constant graphs equations, given system intersects exactly 1 point. What is the value of x? So if they intersect at 1 point, first I'm going to set them equal to each other. We're going to do it old school algebra. Equals ax squared plus 3x plus 5. And then we're going to set it equal to 0. We got ax squared. I'm going to add x to both sides plus 4x. And then I'm going to add 3 plus 8. Okay, now this is a quadratic. And if they intersect in exactly 1 point, that means we have one solution, meaning the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, has to equal 0. Okay, so what is b squared? What is b? B is 4. So b squared is 16 minus 4. A is literally a, and c is 8. So we got this equal to 0. So 16 minus 4 times 8 is 32a equals 0. Minus 16 from both sides, negative 32a equals negative 16. Divided by negative 32, a equals 1/2. So a is 1/2. Wait, what? What's going on? A is 1/2. And then we need the value of x. So now if I plug in 1/2, we get 1/2 x squared plus 4x plus 8 equals 0. Double everything, multiply everything by 2. 0 equals x squared plus 8x plus 16. That's a nice perfect, that's a nice perfect square. X plus 4 times x plus 4 equals 0. Sorry, it's glitching. Oh no, what's going on? Sorry. The web paint thing's, oh no, it just totally crapped out. Here, Here we go. Oh, there we go. I don't know what that was. Okay, equals 0. So my solution for x is -4. So D is the winner, -4. And then just going back and plugging this in, right? If we did have a equals 1/2, I got to hustle because I can't keep doing right, spending too much time here. But 1/2 x squared plus 3x plus 5, just to check. If I plug in -4, I get 4 minus 3 is 1. Plug in -4 here. That's 16 times 1/2 is 8. Plus -12 is -4 plus 5 is also 1. So -4 feels correct. All right. Boom. Done. Let's go on to module 2. And we're just going to keep rolling. We're not even going to pause. All right. Hello, sir. When are you starting the December review? This is it. This is the December review right here. But I'm going to do a US test. Could not, exceptionally good. Could not seen whole. I know. Okay. All right, let's get going. The solution to the given system of equations is x, y. What's the value of y? All right, so this is, we can solve with a little bit of substitution because they isolated that nicely. So we got 4x minus 3 instead of y. I'm going to plug in 2x minus 7 is equal to -5. Distribute. 4x minus 6x plus 21 equals -5. Minus 21 from both sides, that's -26 equals 4x minus 6x is -2x divided by -2, x equals 13, but they asked for y. So we plug in 13 for x, y equals 2 times 13, which is 26, minus 7 is 19. C is the winner. Let's move on to the next one. Here we go. Which expression is equivalent to this? Okay, so basically they're the exact same terms, so they're like terms, so we can subtract the coefficients. 11 minus 3 is 8, so it's 8a squared b squared. That's how you do it. Done. Okay, number 3. Again, this is going to increase in difficulty. You'll see. How many solutions does a given system have? So I'm going to distribute. So then I got 36x minus 9 equals 36x minus 27. So what I always say for these types of questions, obviously these cancel out, right? But bottom line is the x's match and the constants are different. When you have a situation like that, there are no solutions, okay? It's like two parallel lines. So we say no solutions, boom, done. You could try it all day long. You could try and come up with one. You'll see. Okay, a new community center receives votes on it. Hold on one second. A new community center received votes on a city ballot. There are 4 times as many people voted in favor for the center as those who voted against it. A blog post mentioned that, okay, hold on. Let me write this out. 4 against. There are 4 times as many people who voted in favor as those who voted against it, right? So if that's x, that's 4x. A blog post mentioned that 12,000 more people voted in favor of the center. Okay, voted in favor. So 4x is 12,000 more than this amount. You see? So that, because that's how we can equate them. Based on how many people voted against. So we're solving for x. Okay, subtract x from both sides. You see, but it's all about setting up the equation. 3x equals 12,000. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 4,000. Now let's double check. This would be 4,000. This would be 16,000. That is indeed 12,000 more. So B is the winner. Done. Next. 5. Coffee shop sells coffee and function through cups of coffee remaining. What's the best interpretation of the slope? Remaining after selling. So it's the number of cups of coffee coffee, and represents the number of cups of coffee remaining after selling X cups. Wait, this doesn't make any sense. Sells coffee, and the function represents the number of cups of coffee remaining after selling X cups. So if you sell 2 cups, you'd have 234 cups remaining. That doesn't make sense, but I guess that's what. Okay. I think there's a mistake in this. I think that X is supposed to be number of hours. Okay. Well, anyways, slope is never the initial value. It did have 240, but that's the initial amount, but that's not the slope. This doesn't make sense. I mean, it's A, but it's... So it should say represents the number of cups of coffee remaining after selling for X hours. That's what it's supposed to say. It's a little typo. But anyways, A is the winner. Done. It's got to be. It's the only one that makes sense. Okay, an angle has a measure of 7 pi ninths. What is the measure in degrees? So to convert to degrees, we got 1/8. We multiply by this. 180 over pi. Cancel. 180 and 180 divided by 9 is 20. 20 times 7 is 140. 140 is the winner. Boom, done. All right, let's move on. Which point is the solution to the given system of inequalities. Okay. When it's system of inequalities, I like to plug and chug through the options, see which one satisfies both. So I plug in 2 for y, 0 for x, 2 is greater than -2, 2 for y, 0 for x, 2 is less than or equal to 5, A is the winner. Is that quick? Let's see if B, you know what, let's move on because we're running out of time. I will just flag this and we'll come back if we have time just to verify, make sure I didn't make a mistake. I do make mistakes on those, so I have to be careful. A right triangle has legs of 24, make this a right triangle, and 28. If the length of the triangle's hypotenuse can be written as k rad d, where k and d are integers, what is the value? Okay, so let's just calculate it. So again, using Pythagorean's theorem, we do 24 squared plus 28 squared, and then we take the square root of that. Hold on, let me think. This is going to be a nightmare because... Wait, let me think. So 24... What's a fast way to do this? This is very interesting. Without doing a huge number and making a crazy factor tree. I'm trying to think about this a little bit more. So 24 is 2 cubed times 3. 28 is 2 squared times 7. Is this the best way to do this? No, I'm not going to do it this way. Okay, we're just going to go old school. So we got 24 squared plus 28 squared. Here, hold on one second. 24 squared. Hold on. 24... is 1360. So then we got to take the square root of 1360. So let's do a prime factorization tree. So we got 2, and that is 680, right? And then we got 2, and that is 340. Then we got, I just got to make sure I don't make a mistake, 2 and 170, 2 and 85, and then that's 5 times 17. So we can't do anything there. So 2, 2, 2, 2. So that's a 2, that's a 4. So it's 4 rad 85. So it's 85. And then here, I'm just going to verify it. Square root of 1360, and then 4 square root of 85. So are those two values the same? Yeah, they're the same. So anyways, 85 is the inside. That's how you do it done. So we're just simplifying a radical there. Okay. Data set X and data set Y consists of 25 values. The table shows the frequencies, which of the following statements best compares the medians of the two data sets. Okay. So again, median is the middle value. This is going from least to greatest, and they each have 25 values. So that's an odd number of values. So the median is the exact middle, aka the 13th value. So we have 3 values, 9 values. The 13th value is here, right? So that means for data set X, the median is 29. For Y, again, the 13th value is 7, 5, 12, and then the 13th value is again here, which means they have the same median, okay? The medians are equal. Let's make sure I didn't make a mistake. I don't believe I did. All right, let's move on to number 10. Okay, triangle. Here we go. JKL. Again, I'm going to draw 2 right triangles, I guess. And again, similar means same angles, but not necessarily same side lengths, but proportionate. Measure of L is, okay, so JKL. So let's say this is L, JKL, UVW, and they're saying they're 60. So since the triangles are similar, they're both 60. And then JK, hold on. Okay, let's just make this JKL. And then we'll make this UVW. And JK is 1/4 UV. So if this is, hold on. So that means JK is 4. So if UV is, no, sorry. So that means UV is, if that's 4X, then JK is X. Okay. Oh, this doesn't even matter. This is the red herring. They're just asking for the measure angle of W. And as I already mentioned, it's 60. All right, my bad. Next, 11. Ella made, okay, thank you guys for all the likes, by the way. Ella made 24 liters of lemonade. She then filled A, small bottles, and B, large bottles with all lemonade that she made. And the equation here represents the situation, which is the best interpretation of 4B. So B is the number of large bottles, and 4 is probably the number of liters per large bottle. So 4B is the total amount of liters in large bottles, okay? The total number of liters in which we see is C. You see my strategy? I don't go through the answer choices like, is this one right? Is this one? I answer it in my mind, and then I look, and then I match. If you have to go through and eliminate, fine, but that's I think, a more effective strategy. What are some of okay, sum of solutions of a quadratic is negative b over a. Memorize that formula. So let's distribute and set everything equal to 0. So we got 2x squared minus 5x minus 12 equals 9x, or sorry, almost made a mistake. 3x times x is 3x squared minus 12x. Now let's set everything equals 0. I'm going to move everything to the right side. So we got 0 equals minus 2x squared. That's 1x squared plus 5x. That's minus 7x. And then we're going to add 12. So the sum of the solutions is negative b, which is positive 7 over a, which is 1. So the sum of the solutions are 7. That's that. Boom, done. All right, 13. How are we doing time? Okay, we're doing good. 13. Okay, again, get rid of this and bring it back up. Represents the height in meters of balloon K. X minutes after it's released. Boom, 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 which is the best interpretation of the vertex. Okay. The vertex, since this is a parabola going up, and I know that because that A term is positive, the vertex would be the lowest point, right? Which of the following is the best interpretation of the vertex? But we have to find the vertex. The vertex is here since it's in vertex form 3, 10. So that means at 3 seconds... or minutes, at 3 minutes, the height was 10 meters. Balloon's minimum height was 10 meters, or minimum. So height was, nope, it's not 3 because it's x is the minutes. Nope, balloon's height was 3. Nope, we got him. Boom, done. Okay, 14, function P gives the price in dollars of an item. Multiplies x units. Supply increased by 12. How much did the price increase in dollars? Okay, wait. Let's do this. Oh, this is just straight up linear problem. Okay. It's 3 halves times 12, which is 18. It's 18. Okay, let me explain why. All right, so all we have to do is distribute, and simplify. Okay, so this is a nice linear equation. 3 half x. 3 halves times negative 100 is negative 150. You could do it in the calculator if you want to see. Negative 150 plus 200 is positive 50. All right, so this is just a nice linear equation. So, if it increases by 12, meaning if x, that's x, right? So if it increases by 12. Now, you don't believe me, right? You could say, what if it's 0? When x is 0, it's 50. What about when x is 12? When x is 12, 3 halves times 12 is 18 plus 50 is 68. It goes up by 18. So that's a great way to verify. But anyways, that was basically it. I just knew that the slope was 3 halves, multiplied it by 12. That's how I got the change. Table gives the coordinates of 2 points on the line. X-intercept the line is q, p minus 10. Where P and Q are constants, what is the value of Q? Wait, hold on, let me think about this for a second. X-intercept. Well, here's the deal. Okay, P, if this is the X-intercept, that's when Y is equal to 0. That means P minus 10 is equal to 0. That means if we add 10 to both sides, P is 10. So that means this is 8 and this is 12. So, okay, what can we go? Where can we go with that? 8, 10. Oh, it's a line. It's a line. Oh, here we go. So I got two. Okay, so I got two coordinates: 8, 10, 12, 22. Let's make our equation for the line. Subtract down, calculate slope. 10 minus 22 is negative 12. 8 minus 12 is negative 4. So we got a slope of 3. And do I know anything? Okay, so then let's use point slope. So then we got y minus 10, right? That's my y1 equals my slope 3 times x minus 8. Okay, and we need value. Okay, so hold on one second. So we distribute. Let me just get in the slope intercept form. So we got y equals 3x, and then that's negative 24 plus 10 is minus 14. There's my equation of the line. And we need the x-intercept, meaning the x value, the x-intercept when y is equal to 0. Set y equal to 0 and solve for x. 3x minus 14. Add 14 to both sides equals 3x. Divide by 3 and we get 14 thirds. 14 thirds is the winner. Done. Okay. Like I said, if I had more time, man, maybe I will. Maybe I'll go back and I'll verify it for you in Desmos. But okay, one of the factors of this is x plus b, where b is a negative constant. What is the smallest possible value of b? Okay, let's factor this. Let's first factor out a GCF. So we got 6, and then we got x squared minus 8x plus 12. And then we factor. What multiplies to positive 12 adds to negative 8. That is negative 2 and negative 6. Negative constant. Smallest value is negative 6. That's it. Because negative 6 is smaller than negative 2. And I know sometimes people mix that up, but you know why, right? Negative, the larger kind of absolute value, is actually smaller. 17. Wait, time. All right, we're doing good. The function g is defined by this. And what is the x-intercept of the graph? Okay, it's just x-intercept. So what, again, x-intercept is when y is equal to 0. So we're going to plug it in for the function. 0 equals 5x plus 75. Minus 75 from both sides. Divide by 5, and that's negative 15. So x equals negative 15. C is the winner. Yeah, I didn't miss anything, right? Because it's 17, so we have to be very careful. What is the x-intercept of the... Yeah, so sometimes they're tricky. I don't think there's a trick in there that I missed. Okay, rectangular garden. So let's draw a rectangle immediately, right? They talk about geometric shape. They don't show it. Draw it. 9,600. What is the area in square centimeters of this garden? Wait, what? A rectangular garden has an area of 9,600 square meters. Oh, what is the area in square centimeters? Okay, let me show you my strategy for this. So if we got 9,600 square meters, right? So I'm going to come up with any theoretical values for the length and width. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to say that the length is 96 meters. The width is 100 meters, right? 100 times 96, 9,600. Now, I'm going to convert the length and the width to centimeters. This way I don't make any mistakes. 96 meters is 9,600 centimeters. 100 meters is 100 plus 2 zeros, aka 10,000 centimeters. So now if I get the new area, I do 10,000 times 9,600. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 96 million. But we're going to do this in Desmos just to be safe. 10,000 times 9,600. 1 second. 10,000. Oops. 10,000 times 9,600. 96 million. Boom, done. Yeah. All right. A few more questions left. 4. All right. A pool is a volume of V cubic meters, depth of D meters. It's the shape of a rectangular prism. That's a box, basically. Okay. And with a length of L. Hold on. So depth of D. Which equation represents the width of the pool in meters? So volume equals length times width times depth. And we're just saying W. Oh, this is, wait, did I make a mistake? V, depth of D, length of L, width, length times depth times width, or length times width times height. And then you just isolate W, yeah. So it's just W equals V divided by LD. It's A. So I think that's it. I don't think I missed any trick here, but I'm trying to be extra careful because this is where I seem to make mistakes on these new digital ones. Okay, in the given system of equations, K's concept system has no solution. What is the value of K? Okay. We could use Desmos if you wanted to, but I'm going to go old school. So we're going to subtract 82y from both sides. So that's here. Let me see if I can write this out here. That's 10y, and then I'm going to subtract 26x from both sides, and then minus 26x equal plus 70. I'm going to divide everything by 10. Y equals negative 2.6x plus 7. So what does that mean? It means we need to have a slope of negative 2.6 here to get no solution, right? So I am going to divide. So I'm going to isolate y down here too, and I'm going to say y equals, I'm going to flip it around, negative k. Oh, negative k. It's not working. Okay. Negative k. Oh boy. Hold on. It's messing. It's glitching. Negative k. Okay. Over 25x plus, and then 1 over 14. What's 14 times 25? Hold on. 14 times 25. Because 1 over 14 and then divided by 25 is like multiplying by 1 over 25. So it's 1 over 350. Not that really matters, but 1 over 350. All right. So if we want no solution, I want this slope to be the same as this slope. So now we got an equation. Negative 2.6 equals negative k over 25. So then it's just basically negative 2.6 times negative 25. Hold on. Which is just 2.6 times 25. Wait. Let's go. 65 is the winner. Boom, done. Now, again, if I didn't have to run right at... Wait. Did I just type in the wrong thing? It's 65. I almost made a typo. So if I had more time, I'd show you in Desmos that would indeed work. But let's see if I do, because I still have 2 questions left. These could be hard. Oh, yeah, this looks bad. Okay. In the given equation, B is a positive constant. Which of the following is one of the solutions? Oh, my God. All right, let me think about this for a second. What's the best way to do this? If I multiply everything out by that denominator, I get 3x squared, which is 9x squared, equals That's going to cancel out there. So that's 9b. You know what? I think I'm going to leave this. I see what it is. I see already what it is. Okay, I see what they're trying to get you to do. Okay, so we're going to leave it as 3x squared. No, actually, I'm not going to. It doesn't matter. 9x squared equals 9b squared plus, and then we got 36 times the square root of x squared minus b squared. Okay, now what I'm going to do is 36 is times that. It's not over that. I just ran out of room. Then I'm going to subtract 9b squared from both sides, equal to 36 times the square root of, and then that's the difference of squares. So I'm going to write it as such, x minus b, x plus b, okay? And this is a difference of squares. So this is 3x. No, wait, I'm going to factor out a 9 of both of them, okay? So then it's 9, that's x squared minus b squared. Then it's x minus b, x plus b is equal to this. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 9. I don't even know if this is getting me anywhere. Hold on. X plus b equals 4 times the square root of x minus b, x plus b. Okay, so which one of these is a solution for x? How can I figure this out here? Is there any... Let me think about this for a second. So if I divide it by 4, oh boy, I'm kind of stumped here. Wait, let me think. 3x squared. If I plug that in, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to back up. Okay. I'm going to choose a different route to solve this. So I'm going to straight plug and chug because I'm finding this a little bit difficult. So if I plug in, look, if I'm squaring all these, the negatives are irrelevant. And then if I squaring them, I'm removing the square root. So then I get 16 plus b squared minus b squared, which would be 3x squared over 16 equals, oh, but I have to plug it into the top too, right? Oh, this is weird. Hold on. There's another way I can do this. What if I choose values? Okay. I'm trying to think on my feet. This is really hard. So let's set x equal to 2 and let's set b equal to 3. All right. So 6 is 36 over 4 minus 9, which is square root of negative 5. Is equal to 9 is 81 over 4 minus 9, which is square root of negative 5 plus 36 rad negative 5 over rad negative 5. Okay, so then we get this thing. Wait, this is not making sense. Hold on, I'm going to come back to it. Okay, we're going to go to 22. And we're going to come back. I'm going to see if I can come up with a new strategy with the time I have left. Because I know I have a ton of time on this, but I have to finish it right at 9. In the given quadratic function, r and t are constants of the graph with blah, blah, blah is parabola downward. That opens downward. That means r is negative. Okay. And has a vertex at point u, v, where u and v are constants. If v is greater than 0 and k of negative 1, blah, 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 which of the following must be true? Wow. All right. These last two are like super hard. So we know that another way. So here. If I can complete the square here, I can say that, and has a vertex at point UV. So let's put this in vertex form. So I'm going to factor out R. God, is this going to be doable? X squared plus 8 over RX. And then we're going to complete the square. So add half of this, which is 4 over R squared, which is 16 over R squared. And then that's that, and then it's plus t, but then I have to, and then r times that is just 16 over r, so then I have to minus 16 over r. So then in vertex form, this is r times x plus 4 over r squared plus t minus 16 over r. And then the vertex, oh, look at this. So then my vertex is u, which in this case is negative 4 over r equals u. And v is equal to t minus, well, that's v, T minus, what is that, 16 over R? Oh my God, why am I'm struggling? T minus 16 over R. Okay. Let me think about this. So then we're saying that T is greater than 0. R is less. So they said R is less than -8. R is definitely, and then V is, what does it say? V is, and K of -1 is equal to K of 3, which is greater than 0. This is a huge clue. This means they're symmetric. The line of symmetry is X equals 1. That means the vertex, that means this is 1. That means U is equal to 1. And then if U is 1, R is -4. That means this is false. Oh my God. Wait. So then is T greater than 0? That's the last question. And then T minus 6. Wait. And then it says going down, right? So it's definitely anything with 2 is out. So it's either A. Hold on. It's either A or D. Hold on. So then U is 1. And if U is 1, that's R plus 8 plus T. R plus 8 plus T. R plus 8 plus T is equal to V. And then do we know? So I said, what did I say? I said U is 1. And then R plus 8 plus T is equal to V. And then, so do I have a little system here? But that's 3 variables. And then T is greater than 0. So they're saying the y-intercept is greater than 0. That opens downward, and you have a vertex at 1. And then it's saying, I think that's saying that, so T is the y-intercept, and it's saying that the y-intercept is above 0. It's positive. And I already know it's at 1, and then what's the vertex? The vertex is, I'm sorry, I'm kind of blanking here because K is -1 is greater than 0, and it's above 0. It's going down. All right, I'm running out of time, so I'm just gonna roll with. I'm gonna say 1 only. So that's saying the y-intercept is greater than 0, but it's like at 1. And I think I probably missed some critical information. When I do the explanations later on for what's it called, the SAT crash course, I'll have it fleshed out better. But this is it's a great problem. I'm not going to be able to crack it because I got to get off in 3 minutes. Okay. Let's see if I can come back to this. All right. Okay, let's see what I can do here. Okay, I'm going to try and see if I can do something with the calculator. All right. Let's go full calculator on this, and let's say 3x, so that's 9x squared over, and then we have square root of x squared minus b squared. And then that's equal to, and then we're going to add a slider for b, and then that's equal to 9b squared over square root of x squared minus b squared, okay, and then plus 36. Okay, so we're gonna see where these two intersect. Okay, so okay, let's see how I can use this information, because which is fine. So then and then I got such a good idea. Okay, negative square root of 16 plus b squared. I'm gonna answer all these. Okay, and then negative square root of 36 plus b squared. And then we got negative square root of 144 plus b squared. And then we got negative square root of 36 plus b squared. Okay. So look at where they intersect. And it's at 4.123. So which one of these gives us 4.123? See if this is my little stretch. Oh my God, it worked. Look, it worked. It's A. It's the 16, which is 4 squared. That's the one that gives the same, it's negative, but there's two. That's this, negative 4.123. It worked. So I did that fully on the calculator. I was trying to do it algebraically. All right, I got to end this because I got to jump off in 2 seconds. All right, I'm not going to get to review. Let's see how we did. Let's see if I made any mistakes. These questions are wild. Oh, I made mistakes. I got 780. Okay, let's see what I got wrong. Hold on. And then I got to jump off, and we will pick up tomorrow with more videos. Hold on. What did I get wrong? I got this one wrong. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I disagree with this. I know what this is saying. This is saying decreasing exponential. I know why. Because they're saying, oh, it's like you're having each value of X. I feel like I interpreted that correctly. But like I get the argument. You could go either way, right? You're having the value of X, but like each success, like it's saying you're having each value of X. It's not saying that each I know what it's trying to say. You're taking half of each successive value, so it's like goes from 8 to 4 to 2 to 1. I didn't interpret it that way, but that's fair. Maybe that's my bad. Okay, and then let's go to module 2 and let's see what we got wrong here. You're kidding? I got this one wrong? Really? I thought I did this exactly right. What's the right answer? It's 3. Hold on. Let me see if I can quickly figure this out. I thought I was so good. Okay, hold on. Super fast. Oh, I'm late for our next appointment. Okay, I gotta go. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys learned from this. Please click that like button if you haven't done so yet. If you want to see more from the Scale Lyric channel, make sure to click subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a live stream every day this week. Plus, I got some banger videos coming out, as I mentioned, for the digital SAT. Wow, this is hard. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.